Carl Albert and McGuinness playing in the 5A state championship game. We'll start on this end of the table with Coach Stringer. He'll give an opening statement, tell us who he brought with him, and then we'll move down to Coach Dunn.
Mr. Jackson, Mr. Johnson, thank you, UCO, for the opportunity to host us. It's a really cool experience for all the players, all the coaches. We're incredibly thankful for the opportunity to compete on Saturday against one of the best programs in the state of Oklahoma. I talked to Coach Dunn on Saturday. It feels right to be back. It's been 5 years since we've been here. They're here almost every year, but there was a time where it was just McGuinness, Carl Albert, year after year in Class 5A. So that's the goal, to kind of get back to that. So we're excited for the opportunity to compete. This time last year we were in off season starting yesterday, and so we're incredibly thankful for it, and we're super excited. I brought Andrew Harris, starting tight end, defense end. He's committed to Pitt State up in Kansas, and then Baylor Moats, offensive tackle, is committed to John Hopkins, super intelligent kid. But both 3-year starters, captains, and incredibly thankful for them buying into our vision 2 years ago, and what we're trying to build at our program. We're excited for the opportunity.
Mike Dunn, Carl Albert High School. Just echoing what Coach Stringer said, thank you to DJ, to TJ, and the rest of the OSSAA and UCO for doing this for us and making this a special event for our kids, for the coaches. This is first class, so really appreciative to be here, be back here. Every year is a new journey. Last week after our game, one of the reporters asked me if it ever gets old, and it never does. And I know Coach Corbin was here last year. I know he would say the same thing. But every year, it's a new journey. It's a new group. The goals are always the same, but each team takes on its own personality. And just like the team last year, this one, they've got their own personality. It's a new group of kids. We've got a lot of new starters this year as well. And so, obviously we knew we had a young team this year, knew we had a lot of work to do to get back here, and to watch our guys go through the process starting way back in off season. I remember the very first week of January when we started. I think, these guys probably remember, but I think it was the very first team meeting we had in the locker room. I lost my mind and started talking about, what it's going to take, and that last year's accomplishments were last year's accomplishments. That was a totally different team, and that this year was going to take a new effort, it was going to take a new journey, and it would take what it takes. And so, just appreciative to be back here in this game and be here with you today. But I've got Wyatt LeClaire here with me. Wyatt is our starting center. He's a 2-year starter, unbelievable kid, just a program guy. Has done everything that we've ever asked him to do. He's played through injuries. He had a shoulder surgery last year. I think it was the first or second round last year, but he couldn't finish the second round game and had a torn labrum all the way through and actually just kind of rehabbed and got ready for the next week and finished the last 2 games really strong for us. And then we've got Elijah Matthews. Elijah started in some personnel packages for us last year, but this is really his first year being the full-time starter at running back for us. Has had an unbelievable year. He just broke the single-season touchdown record that Xavier Robinson held, or set back in 22 with 39. Elijah had 2 rushing touchdowns the other night, and so he's at 40 now. So has quietly had a really good season. I say quietly because he's not a guy that talks about himself. He's always going to give the credit to his offensive line, his teammates, his wide receivers, coaches, and he's an unbelievable kid as well. So he also played a little bit of corner for us last week for the first time all year, and had a big punt return for a touchdown. So thank you for having us.
This question's for the coaches. Coach Stringer, obviously, when I saw you last week, we talked about, like you just said, every year the goal is to get to the state championship game to be able to play against a team like Carl Albert. And, you guys obviously just delved into it a little bit too with both of you guys playing each other in the state championship game years ago and the semifinals after that. I mean, what can you both just say about, this, I guess you could call it a rivalry at this point, you guys matching up again. I know, like Coach Corbin said, the 2025 teams haven't played each other yet, but, what does this moment, mean for you guys to be facing off yet again here in 2025?
Yeah, no, I think it's a special opportunity. Honestly, not being in the district play anymore. There's times we were playing each other twice a year. It's honestly new teams, new players. A lot of the same coaching staff. So I think Coach Dunn would say, I think we know each other pretty well. Tendencies, what we like to do. Obviously, there's always wrinkles and things we're going to do. So there's a comfort there of kind of knowing, but understanding it's different players. Different ideas and all those things, and so that's kind of the biggest thing. And so for me, for sure.
Yeah, like Coach said, these teams, these kids, they really haven't played each other. It's been a few years since we played, and kind of same thing that the 6A2 coaches talked about. It's different teams, different journey. Obviously both teams same goals, and we know each other real well, the two teams, but each year it's different, and it does feel right having Carl Albert and Bishop McGuinness back in the state championship against each other. We talked about it the other night, and I came to Oklahoma in 2017, and when I was at Del City, we played Bishop McGuinness every year, and I got to know Coach Stringer throughout the years, and this profession is really cool to see people elevate and grow, and watching him and what he's done with his team and what he's done even as a young coach, offensive coordinator coming up, and seeing where he's at right now. It's really neat to see it all kind of come full circle and have us both back in the state championship again.
Got a question for each of you. Ryan, you had to change quarterbacks due to an injury going into the playoffs, and it seems like your offense has really taken off. What has been the difference there, and what does that position going to look like for you guys this weekend? And then Mike, it started out, and I think Elijah scored 4 more touchdowns in 7 games this year. So what is it about him, and have you ever seen anything like that, the ability to get into the end zone?
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, Gage Chance, our starter all year, was injured in the third quarter a lot in that game, finished the game, and then realized on Saturday it was worse than it actually was. Ended up having surgery, and so it's one of those guys, he's a team captain, and it's been great for us. It's been great for Junior. He's been back there basically coaching him through practice. And it's incredibly proud of him. I just want to say that because it shows his maturity as a 17-year-old that he loses that opportunity to do the playoff run, but he hasn't missed a beat being a team captain and being in there. So I'm incredibly proud of Gage and how he's handled it. And then Junior's special. He's special with the ball in his hand. Remember we talked. He returned the opening kick of the season against Deer Creek, lost his shoe, and still returned it for a touchdown. And so he's a guy that gets the ball in his hands. He's special, extend plays. We're rolling with him on Saturday. And excited for his opportunity. He's a competitor. He loves to compete. Baseball kid as well. And so he loves to go. And so that's kind of where we're at right now with that. And so he's been hot. So to roll with him. Offensive line's playing really, really well. We were able to rebound from a performance against Lawton in week 10. And so we're going to keep rolling with him. He's kind of our run game's kind of taken off with him a little bit. This is the dimension that he brings to it.
Yeah, so Elijah, a lot of same things that Coach Stringer said. Elijah is also big time competitor. Also plays basketball, and you can see that last year watching him out there on the court when he was playing there. We've got to watch Elijah grow up. I've known about Elijah, watched him play when he was playing in Little League, and then going all through middle school and watching him do it there. So, obviously we knew that he was going to be a special player. We knew what he could do with the ball in his hands. If I'd probably be lying if I said that I thought that he would go out and break that record that Xavier said. I never thought that record would probably get broken. Xavier had a crazy year that year, and Elijah has done it with less carries at this point. I think he's got 50 or 60 less carries than Xavier did, but he's special. I've told people that he's a guy that can do it a lot of different ways. He'll run through you, he'll run around you, he'll make you miss. He's a tough kid, and he's a guy that when we put the ball in his hands and decided that he was going to be our workhorse. I coached the nickels on our defense, and he was one of my nickels, which kind of hurt my feelings a little bit that I couldn't use him on defense more. But, like I said, he hadn't taken a snap all year long. I think this is kind of indicative of who he is, but he hadn't taken a snap all year long at corner in practice, game, had never even worked the position. And we went out last week and played about half the snaps on defense and played really well. Was great in run support, great in coverage, and what he does on special teams as well, being a kick returner, punt returner guy for us. Just special year, special kid. It's been fun to watch him grow and develop throughout these years.
This is for Coach Dunn and his players as well, but have a chance to win your 20th state title, which would be the most in state history. Has that been on your mind throughout the season? And what would that just mean for this program to be able to do that?
Well, yeah, I know it's going to sound cliche, but these guys will tell you the same thing, that we always talk about us. What do we have to do week in, week out? We don't really talk a lot about opponents. I think you have to do that. Obviously, we know, our guys know when we're playing a really good team. They know when it's a rivalry game and we're playing a team like Bishop McGuinness that's really well coached and really talented. But we do that because of some of those games you get in district that are out of your control that is probably not going to be a great game. A team's going to be a little bit outmatched. So we try to keep it about us throughout the season. And so, thinking about the state championship, we talk a lot about what do we have to do to get to week 14. We don't talk a lot about undefeated seasons. We don't even really talk about district championships. We really talk about putting ourselves in a great position to go make a run in the playoffs. And so I think that helps us stay consistent when the message is the same from all the coaches. I'd be lying if I said that it hadn't been thought about. I mean, that's what our goal is every single year. And that would be real special. Obviously, anytime you win a state championship, it's going to be really special for your team, for your community, for your school. And obviously with it being a chance to make history, we talk a lot about the Carl Albert. It's kind of hard to do to make history because it's been done before. And so to have a chance to do that, it's special. I mean, I know our kids, they feel that same thing the way we do as coaches.
Yeah, like Coach Dunn said, it's pretty special to get a chance to go and make history with this team and go out there with my teammates and do it one more time. And I think the main thing is just to keep us together and stay strong.
Yeah, like you just said, this is a chance to do something really special. This team is a special team. We have a chance to do something really special this year, so I'm just glad I get to do it with these guys. I grew up with these guys, and the opportunity to make Oklahoma history with them is just it's a great feeling.
Mike, you talked about Elijah and all of his accolades, and one of the questions coming into the season was the quarterback. And everyone's focusing on Elijah, rightfully so, 40 touchdowns this year. But I think your quarterback has come on strong, throwing the football as the season progresses as well, taking the pressure off of Elijah to maybe spread the defense out a little bit. I think he's been a big asset for your offense. And also for Ryan, you guys lose an emotional game on senior night on your home field. Then you go into the playoff run on a hostile environment. You go 2 hours up the road, and you take on Lawton MacArthur, who has Division I kids. Did you say anything to your kids on that night after that emotional loss to Lawton MacArthur to get your team ready to be here today?
So Anderson Collier is our starting quarterback. He's a junior, first year to be the starting quarterback at Carl Albert, and I call him Mr. Consistent. He's a guy that you know what you're going to get day in, day out. He's the same kid no matter where we're at in the game, up, down, practice, whether it's good, bad. He's always the same kid, and I think that's what you see when you watch him on film. Last week the opponents, the staff, they said that he was a game manager, and he is a game manager. I don't think that's a bad thing. He's a team manager as well. He's a guy that he can get in the huddle, he can get everybody's attention. He's a guy that makes sure that we're in the right place, we're in the right positions. He knows what everybody's supposed to do on our offense. And what's been impressive about Anderson is he has gotten better every single week, is what you want, but if you look at his stats every week, his completion percentages are going up. You know, one of the cool things about Max Preps, I'm not a math guy, so Max Preps does the QBR stuff for you, and I think his QBR is 145 or something wild. You know, he's up around 70% completion rate. You know, knock on wood, I think he's thrown 24 touchdowns, 25 to 0 interceptions, no fumbles. He's consistent. He's really good, and he again, kind of like Elijah, very, very silent. He's a humble kid, and he just goes about his business and puts the work in.
Yeah, no, obviously, unfortunately, to lose week 10, senior night, have a chance to, win the district championship, host 2 playoff games. And so, it was tough in the time. But, it was one of those things that this is a resilient group. It's one of our core values in our program. We look forward to the opportunity to compete anywhere that we can. We enjoy going on the road. For some weird reason, we play way better on the road than we do at home. If you watch our games this year. So, going on the road was, something that, it kind of excited us. Obviously getting an opportunity to go play at the Rock and playing a really good gut-through team. It was easy to get motivation right back. It's one of those things, challenging that night. Like Coach Corbin said, we showed them, let's go to work. We lost one, that happens. But it's not, it's week 10, it's not a week 11. We didn't lose week 11, and the goal, like Coach Dunn said, is how can we get to week 14? And so, I've told a couple of reporters, we were fortunate that happened in week 10. And that's the way we look at it. And in that process, a lot of Mac exposed some of our weaknesses, for sure, definitely up front. And, we've kind of changed the way we practice, and the way we get after it. And, going in around 1, you usually kind of start to tell back on the physicality of practice. And we got after it. It's probably the most physical week of practice that we had. And because we knew, to go into Guthrie, you're going to have to be ready to go. And so our guys responded really, really well. And obviously, you want to win every game, you want to play well, but you being able to measure success. And, I think we ran for about 50 yards against Lott Mac in week 10. The other night we ran for over 300 yards against them. And so you're actually going to see that measure of success happen over a 3-week time frame. So, it's something incredibly proud of these guys, as they could have easily, go 9-0, and then if you finish 9-1, you fall all the way to the 3 seed. You're thinking you're going to be hosting 2 playoff games and go, it could have easily tanked it and, been done, 3 weeks ago. And so, incredibly proud of our guys and resilience. And I think it talks, about our senior leadership. Also, we got juniors, we got a ton of sophomores that are, we have a sophomore, Marcellus Tyner, that's been elevated to a team captain. Because there's guys, they're football players, they love to show up, they love to work, they love being around each other. And it's a special thing to watch them be around each other for sure.
Then Shade, can I ask the McGuinness players? You lose your starting quarterback. You guys are a big part of blocking. You guys, McGuinness over the years has blocked extremely well on the offensive line. Your starting quarterback goes down. Did you guys rally? I mean, Junior's done a great job running holes that I think I can run through. But just talk about rallying behind the backup quarterback and how you guys have been able to gel over these 3 weeks with Junior running football and Burton running the football.
Yeah, I think at least for Baylor, he's kind of the leader of the offensive line, and so his mindset definitely changed a little bit when Junior went in there. You got a younger guy, somebody that, you got to put your body on the line every night to protect him, because you don't want a young guy back there taking a bunch of hits and losing confidence. But then to Junior's credit, man, he's electric with the ball in his hands in every facet of the game, special teams, offense. He's got a couple of pick sixes this year playing corner. So, I like to say he's just a gamer. You can just put him anywhere and he'll make plays. And then, obviously, it sucks losing Gage, such a great leader. And he's probably one of the toughest guys on the team, and that's what I think, people don't realize. He pretty much, separated, he pretty much, shattered his foot. Week 10 against Lott Mac, and played the entire second half. Just spatted up his cleat and just toughed it out. So it sucks to lose him, but like Coach Stringer said, he's done an excellent job just helping Junior out and and still being that leader, even though, he can't be on the field with us.
So, obviously it's, quarterback, O-line, you always have a great relationship. And, you spend your whole year building a relationship with one guy and all of a sudden kind of gets thrown away and you got to switch, which, it took me some time to build the trust for Junior that I had for Gage, but there were two things that impressed me that I noticed almost immediately when he started playing. One was that he was just fearless with the ball. He wasn't nervous about playing quarterback. He kind of got thrown into it and just started going. And then the second was he didn't really have a period where he had to take some time to learn to trust us, I think that helped me a lot because I was kind of going into it like, haven't seen him play that much, been playing with Gage all year, I don't know how this is going to go. But there wasn't a single second where he showed any distrust in us that we weren't going to protect him. So I think, a lot of what he did is what helped us build a relationship so fast and get to the point we are now.
Come up here.
This is for the players. For Carl Albert, how does it feel that you now get to step into the shoes that you once looked to hope to step in one day, being able to play in the state championship game? I know you guys have seen it multiple times, but how does it feel to finally be there? And for my Bishop McGuinness guys, how does it also feel that you are now the people that kids will look up to try to get to that state championship mark?
It's a surreal feeling. I mean, there's nothing else like it. This is a game that everybody looks forward to all year, and it's something that not a lot of people get to do. So I'm grateful that I get this opportunity to be in this game and get to ride with my guys.
Like you said, we've had this marked on our calendars all year, and now that we're here, it's kind of crazy to feel like this is our last game, but we're ready to go, and so.
Yeah, I think, like Elijah said, I mean, it's surreal. And, we said Coach Stringer said at the beginning of the year, who's going to be the group that decides that we're going to take it all the way. And, it feels like the last kind of few years, the belief hasn't really been there from the player standpoint. And guys who maybe have like a mental block from thinking that, we're going to make it all the way and we're going to go win this thing. But, I think, especially as a senior class, like, we kind of gelled together this year and decided that, like, we're going to be the group, We don't want to have him, having that conversation with any more teams in the future. And so, obviously, I mean, we're very blessed to be here. We're going to cherish every moment of this opportunity, and hopefully be state champions on Saturday.
I mean, like the other guy said, obviously it's an amazing feeling. Like when you're younger, this is stuff you literally dream about. So having the opportunity to come play in a game like this, especially against this team, it's a great feeling.
Anyone else? Good? You're good. One more down here.
So this is for all the Carl Albert guys, but Brent Venables recently in a press conference was talking about, he was referring to Xavier Robinson and talked about, what it means to be a Carl Albert guy and, how tough he is. But I just kind of wanted to hear from you guys, like in your opinion, like what does it truly mean to be like a Carl Albert guy?
Well, first, that was a really cool moment. There's not a lot of things that, I'm obviously very proud to be a Carl Albert Titan, an alum from Carl Albert, and obviously being the head coach now, it's something that I don't take lightly. It's something I'm very proud of, but that was one of those moments that, like, it got me. It was really, really cool to see that, and Coach B to say that on a, national level about our program, and it says a lot about the kids that are there. We've actually got 5 kids there right now, and it says a lot about all those guys. I imagine, they're all playing through something or practicing through something, and the same things that they did while they were there with us. But, as a player, and there's Coach Corbin, he could probably speak on a little bit too. He was part of it as a Carl Albert Titan. There's just something special about wearing that jersey and being a part of the program and doing the things that we've got to do. The program hadn't changed very much since Coach Rose took it back in 1995, and it's really something really special to be a part of.
Yeah, hearing that from Coach V, it's a cool thing, and knowing that some of my former teammates were up there, you know, it's a good way for people that go to Carl Albert and go through the process. It's a good way for them to look up to people at OU, and yeah, those are just true words coming from Coach V, and it started with the standard that was set a long time ago at Carl Albert, and it's followed up all the way through here.
Yeah, like both of them said, basically it's like it reflects on our brotherhood and our standards for a tight nation.